Paula Quinsee, how are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you, and thank you for having me on your show.
And thanks for being here too. So, how has your day been so far?
I've had a busy day. I have been working with a young group of graduates on a work readiness program. I've had some clients that I've been working with, some new programs that I'm working on, and also re-looking at our strategy for next year.
Awesome. Tell me more about that, like the new clients in regards to what? In regards to what program?
So I've been working with I work with both individuals in their personal capacity, and I work with organizations from an organizational perspective. And my key focus area is around relationship dynamics. So on our personal level, it starts with relationship with self. So what kind of a relationship do I have with myself? And then how is that playing out with the relationships that I have in my personal space? So if I am in a relationship, then obviously with my partner. If I have children, then with my children, and then obviously with family and friends. And how am I showing up and co-creating what's happening in my personal space? And then we apply the same philosophy and focus in your professional world. So how am I showing up in the workplace, and how am I co-creating those dynamics with my fellow colleagues, with customers, with suppliers? How is that co-creating potential conflict? How is it building relationships, the type of communication, the quality of communication, what I like to call emotional intelligence and real skills, and what most people call soft skills.
Yes, I love that. How did you get started doing all that stuff? Tell us about your journey.
It was in my personal journey. I was in a 6.5-year relationship way back in 2006. And we had hit rock bottom, and we were going for therapy. And our therapist at the time referred us to Imago relationship therapy. So we went away on this couples weekend retreat, and I was just blown away at the impact that Imago had on me, helping me understand how my upbringing had influenced who I had become, the kind of person I was, my outlook on life, and the types of relationships that I had forged with other people, including the string of failed relationships that I had behind me, as well as the one that I was in at that moment. So it was an amazing journey of self-discovery. It didn't save the relationship, because that's the question that people always ask me.
Yes.
And that was because I was blaming my partner for everything that had gone wrong in our relationship, because he had had an affair. Until I had to look in the mirror one day and go, well, how did I co-create this? So I'm not condoning his behavior, but how I co-created it is, at the time I was working full-time in the corporate world, and I was studying part-time for my degree. And I put all my focus and my energy into my studies, and I didn't put any effort into my relationship. In other words, it wasn't a priority. And over time, my partner felt that I wasn't meeting his needs, and I felt that he wasn't supporting me, because I was trying to better myself and improve myself and get somewhere in my career. And so that's how it really happened. It unraveled, and eventually he ended up having an affair.
I love how you say how we co-created this. So it's not ever one side when it comes to relationships.
Correct. We co-create everything in our worlds, personal or professional, by how we are showing up every day. Are we in a positive frame of mind or a negative frame of mind? And are we in a positive emotional state or a negative emotional state? And then how is that co-creating? How are we putting that out there when we are interacting with other people or in situations?
Interesting. So does that start with the whole morning habits, morning rituals, or how does it start for you? Is that how it all starts to co-create, this whole co-creation stream?
I suppose you could call it a morning ritual. I am a bit of a sports person, quite sporty and active. So I run a lot. I'm a long distance runner. And so most mornings start up with some sort of exercise routine. So I either go running or I go to gym. And that kind of sets the tone for my day.
And the positive mindset, how does that come in then?
So I generally like to have a positive outlook in life. I always look for the good in situations and problems and or people. I always believe that we wake up with the best intentions every day. It's something or someone happens to come across our path and we react to that. In other words, we react either in a positive way or a negative way. So choices. And if I choose to react negatively, then I'm co-creating negativity in my space. If I choose to act positively, I create more positivity in my space.
I love that. I mean, you are a very well-known relationship expert in South Africa, and you've been a TEDx speaker. Congratulations on that. You authored the book, Embracing Conflict. When I'm thinking of this, I haven't read your book, unfortunately. I haven't had my hands on it. But when I'm thinking about embracing conflict, how does somebody embrace conflict? Shouldn't you be resisting it instead of embracing it?
Well, you see, that's what we do naturally. We resist conflict because conflict doesn't feel nice. It's not a nice place to be in. So we either avoid conflict or we come out and attack. In other words, we try and push conflict away from us. However, conflict is growth trying to happen. Because we are being pushed out of our comfort zones. Something is challenging us on some level, which is why we are resisting it. So I like to encourage the people I work with to be curious about conflict. What can I learn about myself or the situation I'm in or the other person that I am interacting with? And how can I use that information or those insights to improve myself and develop myself?
Love that. So you take whatever it is that you're going through and you turn it into something positive where you see, how can I use this to help myself?
Absolutely, because every single situation we find ourselves in, there is always one common denominator, and that is you.
Yeah.
And as I said, situations don't just happen. You don't just wake up in the morning and go, well, today I'm going to fight with you, or today I'm going to have an affair. It happens over time as to how we are reacting, what the energy that we're putting out there, the intentions that we're putting out there that feeds back to us. So what you put out there is what you get back.
Wow. Wow. I love that. I love that. And, you know, Paula, you have, I mean, you obviously know your stuff. Like, you've done it very well. You've trained in image relationship therapy and NLP. And you've really spoken at so many places, TEDx, Future TEDx, and Image Africa. It sounds like you've had kind of an easy journey.
Cool.
Like, I want to know, like, how did you get to that? Because you went from this being a corporate employee to now speaking at all these innovation summits, these big summits. How was that journey? Like, was it easy? How did you do it?
There was nothing easy about it. And there are still days when I ask myself, what was I thinking when I left the corporate world?
Me and you.
But I wouldn't change it for anything, because I love what I do. And, you know, sometimes you just have to take that leap of faith. You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that is the only way you learn and grow. And so when I started out, I didn't consider myself a speaker. But as I was learning more about business and how to grow your brand and your profile and, you know, network with people, speaking engagements was one of those things that you could do to market and promote yourself. And so that's how I started. I started volunteering and putting myself out there and speaking on topics that were close to my heart and my passion and the type of work that I do. And, you know, some people will go to Toastmasters, for example, or public speaking workshops and that to try and develop their skills. So that's some of the things that I've done. But I also watch who I consider some of my experts and role models that I look up to as to how do they present, how do they speak, and what can I learn from them as well.
Did you ever feel like giving up during that whole journey?
Oh yes, many times. You know, when you start out, wanting to run your own business, it seems very glamorous from the outside. It looks like you can be your own boss, you've got your own time, you can make your own money, but they don't tell you all the other things behind that, which is there are days and weeks and months where you can go by not making money, actually running your business at a loss. And there's those days where you feel so down that dark rabbit hole that it's hard to motivate yourself and keep yourself going. And that's where I really advocate having support structures and networks in place. So things like friends and family or peers and colleagues. And I absolutely advocate in having mentors, in fact, more than one at a time.
Yes, I totally agree with that. I don't know about family and friends, because it's funny, yesterday I was talking to my sister and I'm telling her about the business. And she's like, me and my mom were gossiping about you, wondering, what the heck business? Why doesn't she just stop?
Yeah, I've had the same. And you know, they don't get it because they're not there in the trenches with you fighting the fight.
Yeah, they're not there yet. Yeah. So, and did you have like a breakthrough moment, a particular breakthrough moment where the light bulb just switched on for you and you said, this is it. This is what's going to keep me going without me going back corporate?
Yeah, I think as you go out in your journey, you have this picture, this ideal picture of what you're going to be doing from a business point of view. But as you slowly start walking down that path, I think the key things that I've learned is to be flexible, because what you started out wanting is not necessarily where you're going to end up. So how do you, to remain relevant to where you want to get, you have to be flexible and adapt with the feedback that you're getting from your clients or your suppliers or your mentors or your role models. And sometimes, you know, you also have to go with what feels right from a gut point of view, because you'll start off with something, but it's such a struggle. And, you know, business is never going to be easy, but it shouldn't also always be an uphill struggle. At some point, you've got to feel like you're on the right path, you're doing the right thing, and you've got to believe in yourself and back yourself. And I remember talking to one of my trusted friends and mentors, and who's had her business for many more years than what I've had mine. And she said to me, you have to learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Love that.
When you do that, when you stop panicking and giving into the fear about where is the next money going to come from to pay the bills, and you start trusting and having faith and believing, things will be a lot easier. That doesn't mean you're not going to struggle, but you can manage it better than operating from a place of fear and panic and desperation.
I love that. I love that. That was such a good advice you got there.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a very good point. So are you a part of a group mentorship or a network, or do you have something which you host for other women to help them?
I do both. So I belong to two women's networks. The one is Lionesses of Africa, which is a global women's networking forum. And the other one is We Connect International. Both of them have been great sources of inspiration and support for me. And then I also belong to a mentoring platform. There's a Sherry Blair mentoring platform. And the international mentoring platform, and I belong to those where I have applied for mentorship. But then I've also tapped into other people who are in my network that I feel are positive role models and mentors to me that can help me with specific skill sets or specific things that I'm wanting to develop. So for example, I always generally have 2 to 3 mentors. So currently my 3 mentors is, one helps me make financial decisions about my business from a business management perspective. One mentor helps me from a strategy risk perspective, because this mentor in particular has global experience, which is part of my vision about where I want to go, and that's to work globally with people around the world. And then my 3rd mentor is someone who is, on the one hand, she's a supervisor, she's a master coach supervisor to me, but at the same time, she's a mentor and a role model, and she helps me from a professional perspective to develop my professional skills.
Love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. Investing in your own education, it's very important, and investing in your growth.
Absolutely. There's that saying that as long as we are still alive on earth, we still have lots to learn. So I guess we're still here for a reason.
Yes, yes, we still have lots to learn. Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears a little bit here. I mean, you didn't give up. You kept going as hard as it was. You just kept moving by not giving up. What has been the ripple effect to your family?
So I think, you know, they've seen my determination and my perseverance and my persistence, and that, you know, that has helped me through those tough days, those tough times when I've wanted to give up.
Mm-hmm.
In saying that, that has also provided support to the women that I mentor that attend my mentorship programs. And I run my programs in a number of ways, which is the Womanology Masterclass. And just the results that those women are getting through that program also inspires me to keep me going, and that I'm doing something right, that's having this effect on these women.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously the accolades and the feedback that I get, so the testimonials from my clients or the organizations that I work with, and some of the accolades, you know, for example, being a TEDx speaker is a great achievement.
Mm-hmm.
Being nominated for one of the Business Women's Awards here in our country. So it's those little things that keep you going and inspire you and motivate you.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. It's a huge ripple effect. And do you have a favorite charity which you support, and why?
So currently I'm involved with Partners for Possibility here in South Africa, which is a leadership development program. And what they do is they partner a business leader with a school principal in a disadvantaged area to help transfer leadership skills and knowledge and uplift communities through transferring skills and knowledge in a structured but informal way. So in other words, it's not a learning program, it's a hands-on experiential skills development program.
Love that. I love the whole leadership, teaching kids, I mean young children, how to be leaders of the future.
Absolutely, and at the same time providing support to school principals and their educators, because they are not well supported from an industry perspective through their own department.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Love that. Okay, so I'd like to end this with you giving us 3 pieces of guidance. Help us understand what are the 3 things a woman who's listening today could do to maybe follow your path and kind of have their own breakthrough. What are the 3 things she can do today?
I think the first thing is believe in yourself, because we all have unique skills and value to offer. So find what it is that makes you want to wake up every day and jump out of bed, and follow that path and try and make something out of it that gives you fulfillment at the end of the day. And have a support structure around you, whether that be friends, families, mentors, role models, or networks. And then from a resources perspective, have all the right resources in place. So financially, make sure you can take care of yourself for minimum 6 months. Also have resources in place in terms of all the right foundations when it comes to starting a business. So for example, your financial systems, your processes, your strategy, your goals, and how you're going to track and measure those things to keep you focused when you step out of there, and then take that leap of faith and do it anyway.
Love it. Just take the leap of faith and do it anyways.
Yeah.
And what is the best way to connect with you?
You can find me on all the social media channels. I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook, Paula Quinsee, on Twitter, Paula Quinsee, on Instagram, and of course on my website, paulaquinsee.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Paula. This was so helpful. I really enjoyed the pieces of advice you shared with us.
Thank you. It's wonderful being a guest on your show.
And thank you.